In this week's episode of Intermediate English Listening and Advanced English Listening, you will learn about how English native speakers really pronounce the word I. It may surprise you, but the word I can be pronounced in a lot of different ways. Hello, dear listeners, and thank you for tuning in to Master English with Tim, the podcast where every Monday I teach you English in depth and detail, so you can fight the devil in the details in English listening, grammar, and vocabulary, and win. So, like I said a minute ago, we have several alternative ways to pronounce I in real conversational English. And in fact, if you spend time with native speakers of English or listen to a lot of English media, then almost certainly those people are using alternative pronunciations of the word I that you may not know about. In other words, when native speakers and other very advanced users of English say I, you don't always understand them, and this means you are missing part of what people are talking about. Okay, so the problem is complicated. But I have good news. If we start with the basics, everything will make sense. So let's do that now. Let's start from the beginning. So, I have a question for you. How many sounds are in the word I? Is there one sound, or are there two, or three, or four? How many? Think about it just for a second. So the answer is, we have not one, but in fact, two sounds in the word I. The two sounds are ah and E. Listen closely. I. Now faster. I. And so, because I is made of two sounds, we can make it shorter. We will throw away the E at the end and keep the ah at the beginning. And so this is the first of the alternative or chewing gum pronunciations of the word I. So we have the classic classroom pronunciation I, and we also have a chewing gum pronunciation ah. And we can combine this ah with three very popular English verbs: am, will, and sometimes with have. So let's start with am. So first we have the classic pronunciation I am. And then we have the contraction I'm. And then we have the chewing gum pronunciation am. And the chewing gum pronunciation is in fact the one that we use most often. It's now 5 examples. 1. I'm an English teacher. 2. I'm happy to help you. 3. I'm at the airport. 4. I'm for your plan. 5th and last, I'm staying home tonight. Okay, now we have another verb that easily combines with ah. That verb is will. So we have the classroom pronunciation I will, the contraction I'll, and the chewing gum form I'll. Listen now to 6 examples with I'll. 1. I'll be there. 2. I'll be there soon. 3. I'll be hungry when I get home. 4. I'll call you after work. 5. I'll find out for you. 6th and last, I'll need your help. Okay, that's all for I will and its real-world chewing gum pronunciation, I'll. Now let's talk about the chewing gum pronunciation, ah, and how it combines with the verb have. So the verb have has several different meanings, and only 2 of them are commonly heard with the chewing gum pronunciation, ah. The first meaning of have, which uses the chewing gum pronunciation ah, is in the expression have to, which of course means must. Actually, we need to work with the whole 3-word combination I have to and the 6 or so pronunciations that it has. So actually there are quite a few of them, and don't worry though, we're going to do them each in detail, and at the end we'll come back and do all of them together. It'll all make sense. So the first pronunciation is of course the classic classroom pronunciation, I have to. Next, the pronunciation of to becomes t. So the second pronunciation is I have to. The next step is that we take the voiced v sound and we change it to unvoiced f. The result of this change is the third pronunciation, I have to. Just listen to that again, I have to. What's the next step? In the next step, we throw away the h sound at the beginning of have. And in fact, generally, when words begin with the h sound, we often throw that h sound out. And so the fourth pronunciation is I afta. Actually, it's just a little bit difficult to say I afta, and to make it easier, we can add a little y sound between I and afta. And this gives us the fifth pronunciation, which is IAFTA. And the last change is the one that we talked about before, where I becomes ah. And so the most chewing gum-like pronunciation is IAFTA. Okay, that was a lot of different versions, so now I will let you listen to all 6 of the versions one by one like I promised, starting with the most classroom one and ending with one that is very chewing gum-like. 1. I have to go. 2. I have to go. 3. I have to go. 4. I have to go. 5. I have to go. 6th and last, I have to go. Okay, wow, that was pretty difficult. We still have one more meaning of have that uses the chewing gum pronunciation ah instead of classroom I, but this will be much easier for you. So, in the present perfect verb tense, there is the classic classroom pronunciation I have. Then there is the contraction I've, and then we have the chewing gum form I've. 3 examples. 1. Yeah, I've been to Paris before. 2. I've already been to the store today. 3rd and last. I've never swum in the ocean before. Okay, now I have some good news for you. With the other meanings of have, we much more often use the classic classroom pronunciation of I, although we do often lose the h sound at the beginning of have. So let's look really quickly at the other meanings of have with an example for each one. The first meaning is to say who something belongs to. Example, I have a really nice car. You can hear that nice classic I have pronunciation, nothing like ah. The second meaning is about eating or drinking. I had some coffee at breakfast. The third meaning is to give birth to a baby. I had my first son when I was 30. The last meaning is about asking someone to do a job for you. I had a neighbor cut our grass. Okay, let's do a quick review of everything we have talked about so far in this episode. So, the classroom I am pronunciation becomes am. Classroom I will becomes I'll. And with I have, things are a bit more complicated. Classroom I have to in chewing gum sounds more like I have to. Classroom I have in the present perfect becomes chewing gum I've. Okay, so is this the end of chewing gum pronunciation for I? Do we have just classic I and chewing gum ah? Well, my listeners are pretty clever people, and I think you can see that there is still some time left in this episode. So the answer is no, that's not the end. We have not just the classroom pronunciation I and chewing gum ah, but we have a few more extreme chewing gum variations. Before we start with them, though, I want you to do something. I want you to say the ah sound from the word call, the same kind of sound that you hear when the dentist says open your mouth. Say ah. Say it with me now. Ah. Now let's say it again together, and while you are making the sound, I want you to pay attention to your mouth. I want you to pay attention to how far your mouth is opening. So let's say this ah again together. Let's start. Ah. Okay, now listen to another vowel sound. This sound is the from money fun, and love. I'll say it alone now. Now let's say it together. Okay, let's do it together once more, and this time I want you to again pay attention to what your mouth is doing, to how far your mouth opens when you say Okay, ready? If you made the sound correctly, your mouth opened less wide with than it did with ah. So with ah from call, your mouth opened kind of wide, and with from love, your mouth opens less wide. And this means that the from money, fun, and love is easier to make than the from got and lost. So it's actually lazier. So we have the which, your mouth opens kind of wide, and then you have where your mouth does not open as wide, and that's easier to do. And this brings us to the next chewing gum pronunciation of I. So first we have classroom I, then chewing gum then more chewing gum So when do we use this pronunciation of I? So the most common one is with I will. I will becomes I'll, and I'll becomes I'll. Listen to it now a few times. I'll. Listen now to the same 6 examples you heard before, but with the more chewing gum pronunciation I'll. 1. I'll be there. 2. I'll be there soon. 3. I'll be hungry when I get home. 4. I'll call you after work. 5. I'll find out for you. 6. I'll need your help. So, can you hear "ul" with other verbs also? How about with am and have? Well, with these verbs, we don't really say And is not very common with the many hundreds of other verbs we have in English, although you can hear it from time to time. So really you hear generally just with will. But we are still not at the end of the variations we have on the pronunciation of the pronoun I. We have I, then we have and then we have And then, the next step, we have the laziest sound in English, which is what we call the schwa sound. Listen to the schwa again. If you want to make the schwa, it's very easy. Just relax your mouth completely, open your mouth just a little bit and say, You know what? Schwa sounds not just lazy, but also honestly kind of stupid. But schwa is not just lazy and stupid sounding. Schwa is also the most common vowel sound in English. And one of the uses of schwa is that it is another reduced or chewing gum pronunciation of I. Listen now to the different pronunciations of I, starting with the most classroom-like and ending with the most reduced. So, I, and So the or schwa is the most flexible chewing gum pronunciation of I. You can hear schwa or before am, before will, with all meanings of have, and really before any verb. Now you might be thinking right now, do people really pronounce I as Well, the answer is yes, it does happen from time to time. I don't have numbers on this, but my intuition tells me that it's not super often. But if you prepare for the worst, then you will be ready for it, and the other easier forms will be easy in comparison. Okay, now I'll give you 10 examples of I being pronounced as 1. I need some help with this. 2. I gotta work tomorrow. 3. I run a couple times a week. 4. I cooked dinner for you. 5. I hope she likes the gift. 6. I'll call you later. 7. I'm still at the office. 8. I'm ready to go. 9. I drank a lot of tea. 10th and last. I go to work at 10. So surely must be the final pronunciation of I, right? Surely there is nothing more reduced, more chewing gum-like than schwa or right? Well, the answer is that people sometimes just completely throw away the pronoun I, and they say nothing in its place. People commonly do this with just 2 sentences that I will read in just a second. Leaving out the pronoun I does sound quite hurried, and so it can be a small signal to the listener that the speaker is not interested in continuing the conversation. Listen now to 2 sandwiched examples. I will start with the classroom pronunciation of a sentence, and then say the version where the I is gone, and then the classroom version again. So, number 1, I will see you later. See you later. I will see you later. Second and last, sorry, I have to go. Sorry, got to go. Sorry, I have to go. All right, everyone, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all next Monday.